You ever have one of those moments? Like a really great idea pops into your head?
Oh, yeah. The light bulb moment?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then somehow it just stays there in your head. Never quite gets off the ground.
Happens all the time.
Well, today we're digging into that crucial bit, the action part. What turns those thoughts into something real?
We're drawing insights from podcast Mindset Millionaire, looking at how successful folks, actually move.
Right. Beyond just the thinking stage.
Yeah. And what's really interesting looking at the source is how clear they make the distinction. There's having ideas.
Which lots of people do.
Right. And then there's implementing them. And that's a big jump, apparently. A real chasm for many.
You can have the best concept, but without doing something, it's just potential, isn't it?
Just potential.
Yeah.
Seas floating around.
And a key thing they talk about, which I found interesting, is that it's not about waiting for everything to be perfect.
No, definitely not. That's a trap.
Right. It's about, embracing the fact that starting is often messy, imperfect.
Uh-huh. The podcast really highlights that successful people get that. They learn by doing, by trying things out.
And adjusting along the way.
Exactly. Continuous improvement, basically. It's baked into how they operate.
They mention an example, don't they? This entrepreneur, A.
Oh yeah, that's a great illustration. This person, A, faced some pretty big hurdles early on, like real challenges.
Which is pretty common, I guess.
Totally normal. But the difference was how they reacted. Instead of just stopping.
Giving up.
Yeah. They actually looked at the mistakes, the setbacks, as feedback, as valuable intel.
Okay, so learning from it.
Precisely. They tweaked their strategies, kept pushing, and eventually saw, significant growth. It was directly tied to that persistence.
So let's unpack that a bit more. Failure is a stepping stone.
Yeah.
We hear that phrase a lot.
We do.
But how does it actually work in practice, according to the podcast? How do people really internalize that?
Well, it seems to be about reframing. It's not seeing failure as a final judgment on you or your idea.
Right, not I failed, therefore I'm a failure.
Exactly. It's more like, okay, that didn't work. What can I learn? What data did I just get?
Data. That's an interesting way to put it.
Yeah, it's crucial information for the next attempt. It builds resilience, Being able to take those hits and extract lessons, that's a powerful thing.
And it sounds like just starting, taking even a tiny step, is key to getting things going, building momentum.
Absolutely. The podcast used a fire analogy, which I thought was good.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, action is the spark. You need that initial bit of action to get the whole thing burning.
Okay, I like that. Because momentum doesn't just appear, does it?
No, you build it. You take one small action, maybe see a tiny result.
And that feels good.
Right. It boosts your confidence a little, makes you think, okay, what's the next small step? It creates this cycle.
Like a snowball effect, kind of?
Sorta, yeah. Those little pushes start adding up to real movement over time.
So the core message here, boiling it all down from Podcast Mindset Millionaire, seems to be, don't just let those brilliant ideas sit there.
Please don't.
Take some action. Any action, really. Even if it's small, even if it's imperfect.
That's the absolute key. That's how you start turning dreams into something you can actually see and touch.
It bridges that gap we talked about earlier.
Exactly. So we've covered quite a bit, the mindset shift towards action, accepting you won't be perfect starting out.
Learning from things that don't go right.
Right, and building that momentum step by step.
So thinking about all this, here's something for you, the listener, to consider. A final thought.
Okay.
Given everything we've discussed about the sheer power of just doing something, what's one small, concrete step you could take, maybe even today, to nudge one of your own ideas a little closer to reality?